Hi guys, and welcome to this video. And this is going to be a fun tutorial, I hope, all about these kind of bases. I've made these recently for an upcoming small Deathwing Terminator army. As you can see, all Terminator bases. And a lot of people ask me how I made them, where did I get my materials and stuff. And in this video I'm hoping to share whatever I did to get these. Maybe you can use it as well. First of all, I want to say this is hugely inspired by James Wapell. So if you have his blog anywhere on the web, just go visit him, and he's got some amazing stuff to show you. And this is just a derivative of that. Okay. What we're gonna need is obviously a base, and in this case I use Terminator sized bases. But obviously you can use smaller or even bigger bases as well. Next up is some cork, in this case about 2 or 3 millimeters thick, and I get these from a local shop as coasters, 8 or 9 in a package for about €1, I guess. If you can get anything even cheaper or even bigger, it's all up to you. It's really easily available everywhere, I guess. In the section of cork I also got some cork rubble, a really fine grit of pieces of cork. I can make this from my own cork, of course, but I got this laying around, so why not use it, right? Here I've got a piece of plastic card. This is a millimeter thickness, I guess. I've used this because I got this on hand. If you see the videos of James Wapell, you'll see he's using Sculpey, a baking or some sort of clay, which if you break it, it really gets this nice effect of stone breaking off, which I can only simulate with this. But as I'm a cheap ass and I've got this laying around, I'm going to use this and didn't want to bother with anything else. What I did order though, just especially for this, are these columns, pieces of column. They're 50 in a bag for, not a lot of money. I could have used any baking clay or plaster or whatever to create these myself, but I just wasn't in the mood, and I was a lazy bum. Just ordered them, and that's cool. To finish it off, sand. This is really fine sand. Don't know where I got this from, but it's really fine. And in here I've got a mixture of 2 types of sand. Really thick grain here, and just normal sand actually. Okay. And of course, to get that, we've got some glue. This is wood glue. You can use PVA glue or whatever, but everything works right. Okay, let's get started. First off, I'm getting some cork and laying this on here and mapping out roughly a piece I would like to use. And there's nothing really scientific about this. You may like to have it hang over the base a bit, or maybe you don't, but always try to not make it square, or not too square. So here's a nice piece, and the next step is just create 3 layers. Well, in this case I did create 3 layers. You could do less or even more, but I think 3 is a nice way. Don't make it too awkward or too different from the first layer. So if I'm going to use this, I'm going to try to create a bit smaller or maybe even bigger, but try to create the same form as you did here. Somewhat. It's not a big trouble if it's not exactly like that, because you're going to tidy it up in the end phase anyhow. But this is good enough. And here's my 3rd layer. this is gonna be it. I can also turn this around, which may make it a bit more interesting, going from big to smaller. And I think I like that a lot more. Okay. I'm going to take some PVA glue. There we go. Get an old brush, which is this, and just glue them together. There we go. Well, this is the start, and actually you've got to let this dry for quite a while, I guess. But for the next phase we can already continue, which is creating the plastic card top, which we've got here. While this is drying, it's you can see it's a bit loose, but we can do this. I'm going to lay it on top, going to get myself a pencil, and I'm going to roughly draw the outlines of the cork. Nothing too fancy, because in the end the plastic card doesn't even have to be exactly the same. It's a nice effect to have it lay over the cork as well. Okay, so I hope you can see this, but there's somewhat of a pencil line on there. Okay, easy peasy. Take a knife, and I'm not cutting entirely through it, it's not necessary. Just make a small line, because in a minute you'll see what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to take some pliers and just break it off. Hey, that's easy. Oh no, I've gone wrong here. That's actually not a problem. The more rigid and well, like this it gets, well, it's making it even more interesting. Oh, there we go. Don't be too neat and tidy on this. Okay. There we go. This is the bottom part, this is the top part. And we'll see how it fits a bit. Well, that should be it. Something like that. Before I'm going to glue it on, I'm going to work the sides of it a bit, just to make it more rough, more broken off. And this is where things like Sculpey or maybe even Milliput or what's it called, Fimo-Clay might even be better if you've got that handy, because when you break it off it's already in the perfect shape. But hey, want to be cheap ass, you gotta be. Make some nice nicks and dents as well. Don't make it too repetitive. There's nothing repetitive on broken stone, so yeah. Maybe just even only a squeeze would do enough. Get a really nice. I hope you can see that. Like this. Right. Okay. There we go. Now before I'm going to glue that again, I'm going to take my pencil again, and like I did here, let me see if you can get that. You see the tile lines in there, and I started off with a well, some kind of standard pattern of tiles, and within that I'm gonna alter it here and there with something like a square, or you can even do a circle or whatever. And actually that's just drawing at first. So here's a ruler. I'm gonna do it quick and easy. And this is just for measuring out what's the design you would like to have. You can do anything here. You can do square tiles if you like. You can do really small tiles or even really big tiles. Anything. Okay. Now here I drew a really simple pattern actually. I could break this up with a square part here if I like, but I'm not going to do that. Next part is to take a pointy tool, and whatever fits your bill will do. This is my weapon of choice. It's a file, round file, really thin, just a hobby file, but it fell out of my hands once on the ground, and the tip just bended just the tiniest bit. What it made was a really well, it feels like a hook kind of end on it, which is ideally to carve really small things in here. But you can use whatever, a pick or just a knife, or maybe you've got something really fancy. But this is it. I'm gonna lay my ruler again along the lines and draw it out and make it really appear. There we go. Here we are. See how the point is sticking in. Okay. Now we do this all the way. Okay, well, basically this is it, but you've got to be careful when you do this. The part where you're gonna carve in, the sides are gonna stand up. So make sure to file that away a bit, because it's gonna look not natural. So just do it like this. And this is why the this file is handy as well, because it's, well, I'm gonna carve and then I'm gonna file it away a bit. Okay. Now if you'd like a really tight new kind of floor where the marble tiles are just yesterday laid in, then this is the end. Just paint it up and almost ready to go. But as we are all playing in war games, you hardly see any nice and smooth tiles. You always see little nicks and dents and scratches and breaks and whatnot, especially when everything around is going to break. And if you notice it, I went really wrong here with this line, and which is maybe not even that bad to use. This could be a tile that has broken off, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. There we go, and I'm going to make some extra lines to show that it's really broken. And there are actually absolutely no rules here. Okay. You can do this everywhere. You can nick here, nick there, any way you like it. You can make the crease, is that the right word, a bit wider, or just scratch it a bit, anything you like. Little corners that have broken off, anything. I'm not gonna go work on this anymore, but just to show you what you can do, and I hope you can see it. Here's a big crease. I've made it smaller here, and there are some nicks and dents here and there. Yeah, okay. Once this is done, well, actually it's gluing time. We can glue this in there. And again, just with PVA glue. There you go. I'm going to take some more glue in here. And we're going to take out the sand stuff first, and we're going to work on this rim here, because this just does not look like rock. So we're going to cover it all, or most of it up with sand. If you've got really big spots over here on your base left open, this is when I use the really big parts of cork to create some big rocks over there. So let's do that now. I'm not being gentle here, so I'm just gonna smooch it all over. And you can choose to leave some parts unchecked, like here. I'm gonna leave that there. It's a bit alike. Okay. Take out a few parts of cork. Just sprinkle it over. There we go. Just let it fall. Don't fuss about it too much, where it is or where it should be. Just let it fall. Next, I'm gonna dip it in here, give it a swirl, or do it whatever kind of way you like it more. Tap over the excess. Now if you like, and I don't think I do, but if you like, you can even do the finer sand here. Now where do I use the fine sand for? This is where the columns come into place. You can just place it there and be done with it, and that's it. That's cool. You can lay it down, which looks a bit awkward sometimes, and you can even do two on top of each other. Yay, go wild as you like. What I did like though is this stuff is easy. Take your pliers and there you go, damaged. And you can do that any way you like. Bam, there we go. I like that. I'm gonna place it like this. Alright, bit of glue. I'm gonna put a lot of glue on here. I'm gonna go wider than the column is. go. Column's going to be there, because in this case I'm going to get the fine sand and I'm going to sprinkle it all around, because the column should be a bit dirty around. Tidy your place up, let this dry, and you've got a really beautiful base. There we go. Now for my bases I took some miniature skulls and add them here and there on my bases. So you've got some over there, or you can even place them in there. Well, that's it. Hope you liked the tutorial, and I hope to see a lot of cool bases coming by on anyone's blog or Facebook or whatever. So have fun. Cheers!